phone or are you on a
Laptop.
laptops? There,
Laptop.
there will be a an icon with like a little thought box. If you click that, the comments and reactions will come up um, somewhere on there. It
Well,
should
we
pop.
still don't have a create button on our page on the network. I tried a whole bunch of times.
You
Bunch
have
of people,
to, yeah, but you can't create on your transmission page. You
right?
can't create until you create a profile in the sole producers page.
Oh, okay.
Do
I
you
think I'm
have
gonna have
one? Do you have one on the sole producers page? I don't think you do.
I don't even know there was a sole producers page.
Yeah, it's one of the links up further up, but we'll get there. We're just making up
Okay.
as we go, so we'll get you hooked up here in the next few days.
I've
We're
been
just
having
kind of
all I've been
we're
doing these things in a gallery exhibition somewhere, and I lose emails everywhere, and I can't use the computer. I'm just
I know, believe me. There's a inner piece with Denise. I think that's Denise Chadwick on a Toothman's in the House. We got 14 people here. We'll go ahead and roll this out. This is the premiere of Transmission, a program that's been initiated by Susan Bornstein and Julia Weiss. And we're going to just kind of let everybody know what what you're going to get into with this program, and it'll be running. What? It'll be running when? I forgot.
Wednesday at 3
Wednesday.
o'clock Eastern. 3 o'clock.
Wednesdays. Okay. Beginning next week, it'll be running Wednesdays at 3 p.m. We had a conflict this week, so we just came in a little bit later for the premiere. So yeah, here we go. Where do you guys want to start? First of all, let me just thank you for stepping forward, and those like you, especially the feminine, that are starting to come out, that are no longer being hidden. It's safe to come out and play. You can trust, you can trust our energy together. What I mean collectively, you can trust the feminine, you can trust the masculine, you can trust the third energy, the golden child energy. So I'm happy to have you all aboard, and there's more and more coming every day. I think we're up to about 15 shows now. I think we might have 20 by the end of this month, and it's going to help us to fill out the some of the parts of the network website that aren't. They're just kind of have links right now, but we're going to be filling it out, and I appreciate everybody's patience as we work through all the bugs, and also thank everybody for subscribing. But yeah, this is on all of our social media platforms, and we want to put the word out, both what we're doing at Soulja Network, but also what you guys are doing with this program, Transmission. So who wants to start?
Yeah. Who wants to start?
All right, I'll start.
Okay, you
Uh,
start.
well, Susan and I, of course, met through you, Todd. I would She did a couple shows, and I commented. So we kind of hit it off, and for what was it, 2 or 3 years, every couple months or so, we would do a Zoom. And the last year, I think Monique Henry was part of it. So it was just a couple women just talking about whatever. And we would do I would do my light language healing. Susan would do some meditation, whatever our gifts were. And it was really a wonderful thing. So we decided, Susan, I guess, decided to do this show. And I've been praying for quite some time to serve others in fun and exciting ways. And I did have a radio show for 7 years, uh, dealing with helping people that have had ET experiences, how to
Wow.
deal with that. And so I miss having that. So this was just a real blessing. Thank you, Susan, for inviting me for this journey. And so what we'd like to do, I thought we could be humorous and fun and joke around, because ascension symptoms and all these issues with spirituality can be pretty heavy. So we just want it to be a light, fun. We want, I think, a panel of 4 women in addition to us to kind of discuss different issues, the zeitgeist of the spirituality at the time, what's going on. Book of Revelation, is that happening now? And do we have protection prayers or not, or whatever the subject, and we might have different opinions, but we're zero pointing it. We're just and we're having fun and humor, and just a place where people can listen to us and go, I'm not so crazy. These chicks, they're going through it, and so that's my version of it. Susan, would you like to add?
Sure. Well, I like the name transmission because I get to sit on an interstellar council where all you do is transmission, and transmission is just so much better than being a person. And it's communication. It's not communication, it's transmission. I actually studied with Kent Stone 2016 or whatever, and that's all we did. We would do silent transmission. A whole bunch of people on the internet, no sound, and we were supposed to be transmission towers, and you just sent out whatever came through you, and you just received whatever was coming to you. And and then once I did actually a private session with Ken Stone, just him and me in 2020 when I was going completely crazy, and it was all transmission. It was magnificent, and you can travel the waves of transmission, and they change you, and everyone and everything change. It's just communication without control, is what transmission was. But then you come back down here and we have to talk in language which is coded in control from the first minute you say I, but so it's not as fun. But yeah, so I thought we could pick edgy topics. I don't know. People for a couple of weeks ago, all these people were calling me up about the rapture and how they're going to get left behind to suffer for eternity, and I was going, no, I don't think so. And so that was a topic that kept coming up. Or there's a topic every week. This week was the Lion's Gate. And there's a topic, something comes up that's kind of common to everybody in the energy field that we could talk about. And I thought, like, first we would go around, we could talk about the topic, but then, like, native circles, or just talking to native people, they start talking about the topic, and like halfway into the second sentence, they start talking about something else, and then by the time they're finished, they're talking about something completely unrelated, and it's magnificent and wonderful. And so I figure if we start the first round on topic, we could just go right off to whatever, just speak your story, speak what's going on for you, just transmit, just communicate. I was thinking we could have 6 people. I was thinking we could have men too, but whatever works out. I've been getting lots and lots and lots of requests from people who know you and Morgan and Sology and all the people I know from Sology, like hundreds of people. Where are they coming from? All of a sudden, so they request friends. I just press yes because they know you and Morgan. Okay, yes. And I got all these friends. I don't know who they are, but I'm sure we can find people to do this panel amongst all these people. And that was the basic idea, I think. Yeah.
Well, let's back up a little bit. And I think this is great. One of the things that I've been really impressed with is the originality of the shows. Everybody's stuff is not just a regular talk show. Okay. Julia, you mentioned that you did a podcast. I don't know if it was audio or video, doesn't matter, but that you were doing a podcast that was specific to people in their star family encounters?
Yeah, I have been abducted by aliens, and I was with a whole group that we used to meet in Maine, all the people that were abducted, and so it's called Starborn Support. So we would help people through these conferences deal with whatever they needed to deal with. So Starborn Support was one of that. I don't have much memory of it except, the paralysis and dream time. But some of these people had real reality of it. So we did that, and then at the last half, it was a 2-hour show, and in the last half hour, I would do something. When I started getting into ascension, I started to talk about that. And so the abduction part was just like, it just faded away, and we're going forward, and
right.
So it's wonderful because it was not video, it was audio, so I didn't have to wear a bra or makeup. Now I have to now I got to do everything.
Just do it in your underwear. Well, that's pretty cool, though. So basically, the the common denominator of having some type of star family interaction brought everyone together, and then it evolved from there and became more of a general covering more issues or more experiences related to what we all talk about and what's happening to us. Cool. And Susan, you, of course, I know you personally, both of you, and we participated in Morgan's groups for over a year. I see you there, and I have you on the show. Julia's been on the show. But Susan, you talk a lot about your own interactions with Star Family, to include these councils, and how you relate that to the name transmission. So when you go to a council meeting, you're transmitting your Earth experience, or are you transmitting your multidimensional experience?
My multidimensional Earth experience?
So you're reporting from the front lines to the rest of the council members.
That's what it feels like these days.
Yeah.
I get a mentor and stuff, and sometimes he just surrounds me, and he told me that he's amplifying my frequency because they're trying to hear humanity's voice, and humanity still isn't unified enough to have a voice. So he amplifies my frequency so they can hear my experience of what's going on now. That's what.
Well, that's a good subject right there. And so, like, have you? I mean, having done this for quite some time, doing panels is a whole different ballgame. It's not insurmountable kind of thing. It's just a different dynamic. I like the idea, though, having 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that maybe don't want to come do their own show, but want to take the opportunity. They feel comfortable enough, especially in the presence of women, which I think that might be a stepping stone for a lot of people. One of the reasons I think that this has occurred at the Soulgy Network is because you've got 80-20 representation, female to male, in these communities, to include Soulgy, which is about 75-25. And if you look at the folks that are putting in, I know it's changing, just like the demographics are changing of the gender makeup in these communities, but it's almost like inverse. It's like backwards. You got 80% masculine or male and 20-25% female. So I'm real excited to see that more and more females are going to be stepping up. Are you getting pretty good feedback from people that want to come on the show, or have you started digging and beating the bushes yet?
Yeah, I got people asking me like really edgy interstellar questions. I'm going, we haven't even started yet, and I'm giving them answers. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't know I knew that. So and so that was like a few people, maybe 2, 3, and I was like, wow, like we haven't started the show yet.
Yeah. And is the show going to run 60 minutes or 90 minutes? I don't know. Or do you know?
I think an hour is good.
An hour. Well, all of the shows. Yeah. All of the shows.
It's all transmission. So I don't know.
All of the shows have a 30-minute cushion, so you can essentially run an extra 25 minutes. That'll give us 5 minutes to get the next one ready. So yeah, you can go, if you're 60 minutes, you can go 85 minutes. If you're 90 minutes, if you convert to 90 minutes, but yeah, I think an hour is a good place to start for any of the. And I started with an hour, and it took me a long time before I started playing with longer play. But yeah, it's an hour is good. An hour is good. That's really the duration that retains the most people, especially if there's something new and it's being established. So I really feel like that what you're going to be bringing to the table is going to be very effective and influential. Do you have any specific topics that come to mind as you come out of the chute that you want to dig into that you may not have much experience with on a personal level, or that maybe that you do that you want to talk about?
Well, I definitely want to talk about ascension symptoms. I'm the poster child for ascension symptoms, so I'm constantly tired and going through all I'm pretty much like the collective, so I can do a brief synopsis of that in the beginning. And then, Susan, what was the topics we were thinking of doing? Just any of the fads that are coming, like the conspiracy theory.
There was the rapture.
And the rapture, and
the solar flag.
now everybody's fighting over the Lionsgate, whether that's good or bad, which is so kind of
Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
weird.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. But anyway, that's a whole show. Um, but um, but yeah, it's all intention. And I think we want the audience or whoever wants to come on also to express what they're interested in, and they can. I guess we can do it on Facebook, Susan. We can do a promo and say,
Network page.
well, yeah, what would you like to do? And then I guess Todd sends them the link. We pick whoever, we pick 4 people each week.
Yeah.
And yeah, we could do it that way.
Yeah, and I think that's good information. So, because we got to disseminate the information as best we can and take every opportunity that we can. Because you got to remember, whenever we came over, whenever the guidance came in and said you got to leave social media, which was very scary, it said you got to leave everything behind. All of the 5,000-6,000 video productions of Soulja, you got to be left behind. You can't just bring everything over. And so we started with that, and we started with just having the live and the replay available on the SouljaNetwork.com to retain the integrity of that space. And anyone that's been on at Soulja Network for any of the shows, it's very obvious there's a totally different energy. So it's been interesting as we do these premieres, and we also do a Soulja Spotlight Show of the Week. We do it on our social media platforms. I've watched the energy at first, and the first couple of them, it was kind of really, you could see it was kind of some diversive energies, and then it's kind of like started to fall into like an equilibrium, I guess, or more of a 0 point kind of thing. It's almost like we're bringing that frequency slowly out to social media in some kind of bridge or something like that. But then going back to the mechanics of the way the shows work, pretty much all the shows will have guests, not all of them. Although any originator, any producer like yourselves, like me, we won't put a full length out there on social media, so we can keep the integrity of the site. Other than the premiere show and the occasional Soulja Spotlight Show of the Week. Now, this is just how we're coming out of the blocks. But we will give a full-length editable copy to every guest on every program if the producer wants to do that. In your case, the producers. So if you have 4 people come on next week, all 4 will get a full-length copy that they can share on Facebook, YouTube, or anywhere else. We will be, and we're just starting this now, we will be having the producers timestamp excerpts from their show, so that we'll be able to then cut those excerpts out and put them out all over social media, which will be all of the Soulja platforms on Facebook and YouTube, as well as Telegram and Rumble and Instagram and Twitter. Okay, so we're gonna flood the internet with the excerpts from these shows. We're also, hopefully by the end of the month, it looks like we'll be okay with that, is we'll have a Soulja app that we're going to give away free to the public. That will give them access to the public page on the network, which at the top of the page, if you go there now, it shows the video logo of Soulja. We're going to replace that with a 24/7, 365 continuous feed of our excerpts from all of our shows that in time will install hyperlinks on there so they see your show. They can then go to your page and so on. And then, of course, the subscribers will get access to the rest of the network. But yeah, I really feel like that I didn't know how this was all going to happen, but once the trigger got pulled, and people just have been coming out of the woodwork. So our goal is to provide the template and let the people build it. And then, of course, long term, once we get to 3,333 subscribers, we'll start to take 1/3 of every dollar that comes in through the subscriptions and allocate those to the content creators on a percentage of the viewership that they get. So, I feel like we'll get to 10,000 people by the spring. That'll give us $1.5 million, actually a 1.44 $1 million annual budget, of which a third of that, about $40,000 a month, will go to the content creators. If somebody has 4% of the monthly engagement, then they're going to get a check for $1,600, a gift. It's all based on gifting. It's non-taxable. We let the Matrix know that right now. It's all about gifting, and I'm one of the side projects I'm working on right now is writing the bylaws of the nonprofit corporation, where we can challenge or push the envelope of the current illegal tax laws, and we can supersede that with 5D plus gifting in the form of equal energy exchanges. So I'm real happy to see so many people stepping up, and it's really making my life easier because I don't have much gas left in the tank. I think by the end of the year, when we have this Sology Fest and it's all done, which is going to be pretty prolific, and we're going to tie in the network to it, because there'll be some other things coming out with the network, such as the social community, as we get into either by then or shortly after then, as we get into the spring maybe. It's really going to make this thing grow. So the people that are coming in now, like yourself, are really building the foundation. So it's really important to me, and very effortless really, because it's organic, that they have the band of frequencies that align with the Sology consciousness, because it really is a consciousness. It's just a small mirror of the universe, and a part of the realm that is mirroring the universal, attributes, which is, moving away from codependency and into Trinity energy, and moving away from duality into the power of the Holy Triad, which is beautiful with your show, because you got two of you, and then the Sology consciousness. So there you have a triad, and we know that proliferates with many, many triads, which you'll be forming with your guest. So I'm anxious to see what happens. Are you going to have like specific? I know at Sology we just play everything by ear, right? And everything's subject to change. And so are you looking at having shows that are just one theme for the entire show, or just kind of an open smorgasbord of whatever comes?
Smorgasbord.
Mm.
I thought it was going to be a theme, but
Growing, changing.
we can always change it. It depends, I guess. I was thinking of a theme, but then you could just diverge from the theme, right?
Yeah.
Theme is just a start.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just meant like going into it. Yeah.
The triad is the three. The triad is there's thousands of themes you can start with, and that'll take you off in all sorts of places, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Julia, you gonna get your husband on here? Oh, she froze.
Oh,
Oh, there she is.
I told
Oh, did I just freak her out by asking her that question? Are you gonna get your husband? Huh?
I told him to come down and say hello to you.
Oh yeah, he should. He should come on the show sometime. Y'all should have
He's
him
a
on.
real supporter. He's a real supporter of me with all
I know
my
he is.
things.
I know he is.
was he on the panel?
I lie on the couch and he's like, energies, and I'm like, yeah, energies. He goes, you want anything? I said, sure, go get me dinner.
Yeah. Life with
Oh, sorry.
no, I was just gonna make a
Like
joke.
with the witch.
Life with a White Witch, yeah. He's Darren. She's Samantha. Yeah, go ahead.
I
What
actually
were you gonna
have friends who would have never considered like listening to Sology. Who I have a cousin who now follows Sology and sends and posts memes on the internet, and I'm so yeah. I have friends who would come on the panel.
say? That's awesome.
It's me. Yeah,
That's awesome.
male friends. Okay.
Male friends. You got a lot of male friends. The more I hang around you, the more, yeah, there's something going on there. Julia, you mentioned that when you did your radio show, that one of the things you started with was sharing your light language, right?
Well, that came later. Light
Oh.
language came a little later. But I have to say something, and I told you about it. But Spirit, I get downloads of information a lot, so I'm just asked to share this information. I had a lucid dream where I really felt like I was there, and it was a galactic council, and Susan made me think about it, and you and Morgan were on the other side of me, and there was a gray to our left, but he wasn't really gray, he was beige, but he had the gray features, And then there were other people, maybe blonde, tall blondes, but we were telling the council what we want for New Earth. So we weren't depending on them to save us. We were telling them what we want New Earth to look like. And that was just real profound because it shows how much power we have. So, so I just wanted to say that we're very powerful. And part of the show is just to show how powerful we are and can be. And whatever it is, we can change it. Whatever the subject is or whatever the negativity is, we can absolutely change it. Because, and really good things are happening. But I think, and I ask every day to go to council with Susan. I haven't yet am able to go into that state yet, but I know I'm doing it in dream time. So,
Right.
so anyway,
I only have a couple of
Spirit
memories.
just wanted me to say that we're all
Yeah,
connected.
yeah. There's a little bit of a lag. I'm not interrupting you on purpose. Yeah. So, I mean, and then back again to your connection now. How long have y'all been connected? And tell us a little bit about what brought you together. I know you met through Sology, but I mean, like, what is it? Did you recognize each other? Did you have a soul remembrance? Or did you just kind of, like, you knew each other all along?
Once, and I talked to you to try to find women who would do this women's group. It was like 2020, just before lockdown, I think, or maybe after, maybe in lockdown, and I got maybe 7, 8, 10 people. Oh, Glenn, what's Hammond? Nikki Hammond's wife, she was on there,
Yeah.
and some friends from Powell River and some friends from other groups, and we did maybe 4 or 5 shows, and then it was 2020. I'm getting depressed. I'm going, I don't care. It's just going to be an argument about Black lives or something. I don't want to deal with it. And it kind of just fizzled out. But then I started again. Every time I started again, and I got different women, and then I did a show with Joe Delaney, and he got me some women, and we did another one. But Julia was always there. We were different people, and Julia. And then in September, I wanted to start again, and Monique Henry was doing something, so we worked it out. So there was Julia and Monique, and sometimes another person or two, and it was just women. It was just, we were supposed to have topics, but it came 2020. I was just, let's just talk. I'm bored. I'm going crazy. Let's just talk, and we just talked. But just talking to 4 women about what you're experiencing in lockdown, not wanting to take a vaccine or not, or what. And there were so many things, so many dimensional things going on then that you couldn't talk about to the regular guy on the street if you could meet him at all, because you weren't allowed to go near him. So we did that, and it was great. So.
Wow.
But Julia was always there.
That's
and
awesome.
we're the Jewish connection.
And I'm the one that sits on the couch and meditates and sends love to everybody and tries to raise vibration. I didn't really want to be in public, but it was time. It was definitely time. Spirit moved me. Spread your gifts. Show your gifts. Teach. You need to teach. Tell people what you know. It's actually just sharing. It's not really teaching. It's
That's right.
Sharing.
That's right.
And do the light language healing if people want it. And so this was a great opportunity. Be careful what you ask for, you'll get it.
Exactly. And I think we all did ask for this. And I don't just mean, well, like what you're describing is like a little microcosm of the whole thing, right? Like we all, of course, some of the narratives, there was some interference and somebody went against God, and I personally feel it's just all part of the story within the realm, because obviously we are whole, and we chose to come down here, we chose to forget, and the stories really are just the stories. But regardless of that, now we find ourselves in 2023, which is quite exciting. Even if I take someone like Susan, and there's so many Susans, Julia, you're the same, really. I mean, but like knowing Susan a year and a half ago, seeing that she had, sacred wisdom and memories, seeing that she wasn't really sharing everything because she'd been, like so many of us, considered weird and strange, and and of course the suppression that's deep deeply or was deeply embedded in the DNA, particularly with the divine feminine. But to see that same person, like people, seeing me change and others change, start to come out. Even like you today, Julia. I haven't seen you like this. Like it, but yet you're shaking in your boots, but it's time to do it. And this is what we signed up for. So,
Oh, I'm a way different person than I was when you met me. I've been
right?
through I zero pointed it all. Well, I'm zero pointing.
Yeah, it's a constant thing. There's always an ing on everything, right? We haven't come out; we're coming out. But yeah,
after Schoology Fest, when I went to Arkansas, after that, my memories and my psychic abilities just exploded.
Right. Yeah, I think
maybe it was all the contact with all those other people. I don't know. It was good though.
Well, the same thing happened at the first one, and it took about a year for everything to kind of like integrate, and it's been about a year since the last one. This one in December is going to be cool because it's going to be so much bigger, and it's really, even though the others were on that trajectory, it's really a spontaneous creation. As people register, and purchase a ticket, we then move to set the second step, which is: do you want to run a workshop? Do you want to present something, or do you want to perform something, or do you want to be a vendor, or whatever the case is? And so we're just kind of making up as we go, instead of having a bunch of headliners, because as the theme of the Soulgy Fest is, everybody is a star, and that's the truth. And it's interesting having these conversations this year up to this point, where so many of the conversations have changed. So many of the facilitators and healers and practitioners are taking on, are displaying this greater level of humanity and down to earth, humility and openness. It's amazing, because the human being aspect is being seen just as much as the multidimensional aspect. So now that we have this vast array of different programming that's starting to emerge, I think we're going to see that. We're going to see a lot more code offering and sharing on this network. It's going to almost like moving from a singularity to a multiplicity, and I'm just excited about it, because I know it's only going to get better and better, and it's not driven by a doctrine or a dogma or rules. It's just everybody gets to be themselves, and that's the best part.
Interesting. You're talking about resistance or being more open, but I'm doing this show, and we've been building up to it for a couple of weeks, and this week the masculine resistance in my life has just amped up. I had the municipal authorities come to my house one day because somebody reported me for watering my lawn on the wrong day. And yesterday the police came because I had a fight with my neighbor, and the janitor decided to call the cops. The cop was standing there going, but like all this, I'm wondering if it doesn't come from I'm going to do something really edgy, and I'm calling all this resistance into my life because it was all nonsense. And I wonder if I did that with this fear of repression or something. That's just a thought. It all amounts to nothing. I mean,
well, I guess we're going to find out the answer to those questions as time goes on. Is it all us? I think it is all us. Ultimately it's all us, but some of us, all of us, I think, are kind of stubborn. I think a stubborn human makes a stubborn soul, which to me always made sense, that we'll be the last ones to go down, which is probably why we're here in the first place, is because we don't give up, and we just keep on keeping on.
But so there was another topic. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, it's just letting go of everything. That's been coming up too. Just like, that's scary, man. That's really scary. But I'm going to do it.
Julia, you mentioned that you're going to share your light language. Are you, and Susan, Julia, are you going to share your light language and or other abilities that you have? And the same for you, Susan. Are you going to do things such as have conversations with Dad,
Yeah.
channel, whatever you want to call it, transmission. When you say transmission, are you going to be involved in the transmission as well, the two of
It's a
you?
good, probably, yeah.
She'll
I think
talk to her
so.
dad and everybody else. I I heal through my hands. I do healing with my hands, so I can do a light language and send energy out whoever wants it. I do that anyway to the Philadelphia area, and you know,
Philly.
uh, yeah,
I
I
love
raise the
Philly.
vibration of my city and town.
South Street.
So
Isn't
that's
it
what I'm here for.
Isn't it South Street downtown? South
Yes,
Street.
it is.
That's where
Yeah,
I
we
did. That's where
party.
I did my first Sology open mic. Was on
That's
South
where I
Street.
used to party as a young chicken.
That's where I partied as an old chicken when I was there. Well, I had to get the nerve up to do the open mic. Well, you want to give us a little taste of it now? You want to do some light language healing now, and then maybe Susan can connect for us? Are
Sure,
you okay with that,
sure.
Susan?
Let me ask
Mhm.
Spirit.
Okay. Let's
Let me ask Spirit what needs to come through. I think unity is the message. There's a lot of diversity, a lot of negative stuff going on in the community, about different subjects, which people aren't really zero pointing, they're blaming one another. So I think we're going to just bring down the beautiful energies of unity. And I also want to send out healing to whoever wants to get healing, whether it's emotional, mental, or physical. Source knows where to go. So I'm just going to send some light language. I'll try to talk low because I know if I go high, it'll disappear. So I'm bringing source energy through my crown chakra, through my hands. I'm sending it out to Todd and Susan and whoever in this community would like to receive it in this now moment and listening to it later. Mashiro Sundre Kiyanyama Wananamasi Ani. I ask Source to give me the codes for unity in the community. Washandara Sira Handare Kiyaha Yakinanamashiro Sundre Mahiyanahi Oyanamashira Sundari Kiyanamashi Kiki O Sundari O Shandarama Kiya Sana Niyanamashira Koyanamashi O Koyanamasiro Ira Sunde Ikiniyamakai. Clearing out all distortions, zero pointing everything. O Lashina Niyamasiro Sundara. Healing everyone, whoever needs to be healed. Shundara Masira Sundarakiya Mashi Shi Kyo So. Source loves you. Focus on your relationship with Source. All other things are a distraction. O Sundara Mashi Shi Kyo So. Thank you. I like to keep it short because
I like it.
people, their minds go.
I like it. Yeah.
Oh, my energy's like, whoa.
I could feel it in my head. I don't know what was happening there, but it's pretty.
Opening up your crown. Bubby.
Puppy.
Bubba.
And what about you, Susan? Are you gonna? Now, what is your dad's name? What's your dad's name?
His name his Hebrew name was Shem, which means name. His English name was Sidney.
And are you going to bring Shem into the conversation
Sure.
today, or And
Yeah,
otherwise,
he's been. Yeah, there are times, and since December, when he'll do the things like I really wished he would have done when he was alive, but it wasn't his business. Like like I ask him really banal, stupid, earthly, whiny questions, and he'll give me like galactic soul answers for like 20 minutes if I want, and so I can ask him. And he's right there, and he'll come down real low for me these days. um, yeah, I could just ask him if he has anything to say because this is strange. Yeah, this is strange. I'm gonna ask him. Yeah, he says it's good to do this. It's gutsy. It's good. It's expressive. It's important. It's valuable. It's stepping out. It's really good for me. It makes me confront all my demons and blow them away. And the one thing he tells me and everybody, and I really love it and I say it, but I still yet to believe it, is you have no more enemies. There's all this stuff makes you think they're going to stop you. People won't let you. There's all the conspiracy theories. Your enemies are gone. Blow on your enemy, he'll fall over. It's all just the after image. They're really not there anymore. And if you have guts, you just stand up to them and go like that, and they're gone. And I really like what he says, and I believe him. And then things happen, and I go, oh my God, I can't do this because. But he just keeps repeating that over and over again. Another thing he repeated, though, that he's not saying now a lot, is about commitment. Keep commitment, and the whole social field, even the spiritual social field, has all these things about if you don't like what a person says, cut them out of your life, and he's going, no. You're committed. You made a commitment to that being, and if you stay committed to that being, that doesn't mean you take abuse and things, but you stay committed to loving them, you will learn things about love you never knew. You know nothing about love yet. And so I do that, and I learn extraordinary stuff, and it's always really painful to do, but yeah, stay committed. So he says that.
Devotion, right? I totally get that and experience that constantly, and I'm going to pull this comment back up from one of your contemporaries, Anna Toothman, who hosted her first episode on Monday called Authenticity. She said, letting go means emotional cords are cut, not the actual thing or person. And I believe that's very much of what your father is transmitting through you on this wonderful show called Transmissions. But yeah, I keep drawing it to perception and perspective. They say perception is our reality, and you really gotta, for me anyway, you really gotta accept that that everyone has a perception, which to me is the veiled vision, right? And before I can reach, like, I don't know, for me anyway, before I can reach that higher ground or that higher equilibrium or understanding with someone else, I've got to be able to accept and allow their perception. Even if I can see something they can't, or I think I can, I still have to respect their reality and really understand where they're coming from. And I feel like this is something that we're getting into now, because if we can accept each other at the flawed level and really, it's almost like bringing down, like you're talking about, your father has to come down, or people talk about when they're connecting, they have to, their aspects come down and you have to go up a little bit. But it's like we're bringing in unconditional love, or maybe it's that multi-dimensional perspective, and applying it to the shadowed human environment. So if I look at you and I don't understand you, and you don't get me, and all that stuff that we have, but I can say, you know what, I respect your reality. I understand as much as I can that you're not the same as me, even though we know we are the same, right? It's like accepting those differences. I remember reading a book review of Thomas Cahill, who's one of the preeminent historians, at least apparently he was last year. Now we don't know how much of the history was true, but he said about America, he said, and I guess you could say it about the earth, right? That our differences are our greatest strength and our greatest weakness. And I always thought that was such a profound statement because we're in a kind of a active uh, navigation of this realm, which is requiring integration of polarities. And nothing gets left out. You know how you hear people say, "I'm not leaving until everybody's on the ark." I always say it. I'm not leaving until the last lost struggling soul comes home. But if we think about that, that also includes anything. As she said in her comment, it's not just anyone, it's anything. It's just the emotional cords or the illusionary cords we cut. But, like I say too to myself, how can I detach from something I'm always connected to? So I think to actually have these conversations and hear what you're saying after years and years, and boundaries are important, don't get me wrong, in order for us to find ourselves, but it's interesting to see how the walls are coming down for everybody. That to me is like like something that's undefeatable. No matter what level of fluorides in the water, or how much metals in the chemtrails, or how much GMOs, or whatever other effery that's out there, we've overcome all of this stuff, and there's a real cohesiveness seems to be occurring now after all these years. It really does.
There's no enemies. There's no enemies. There's just belly fat, and no carbs are safe. That's the only enemy. Belly fat. Menopause belly fat.
Menopause belly
The
fat.
enemy? Okay.
I'll tell you what, and everybody's different too. Like I know people that are on carnivore diets that are thriving. I know people
Really?
that are
I mean,
yeah. I know people. I mean, I'm talking about like heavy on the, and I've cut out bread and pasta, sugar for the most part. I mean, I really, I had 5 days with my family, and when a bunch of Mexicans get together, you're gonna hand you a lot of tacos. But for the most part, and I noticed that the changes in my body and the way my body's speaking. Are y'all noticing that this year? Like the body's telling you, no, 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 we're not doing that anymore. Or yeah, go eat this, go eat that. Are you
Yeah,
noticing
for
that?
a long time, actually.
Yeah, yeah. Right on.
well, I had a rough time quitting smoking,
Mm.
and be careful what you ask for, because I asked Source to help, because every time, I mean, I just couldn't do it. I would quit for like a day or two. And so what happened was I got really sick, and I even had to go to the hospital. It wasn't COVID, but I couldn't breathe. It was like COPD. And so I went to the hospital, and they gave me all these tests, and they're like, you're perfectly healthy. They gave me a lung exam. Your lungs are healthy. But I couldn't physically smoke anymore. Like my body wouldn't take it. I could put it to my mouth, but I couldn't push it in. So, so I had to go through that. And of course, this was 6 months ago. So I gained like 20 pounds in
Yeah.
like 6 months. And then I realized I have to really watch. So, and usually I eat healthy, but it's the nighttime, because we want to eat our popcorn every night, our salty foods. So I've noticed a significant difference when I don't do that at night.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely starting to lose it. Your body has to get used to the ascension symptoms. Bloating is a big one, but your body when you change a habit, your body has to get used to it, because that's what you use for stress release.
Right.
Now
Right.
you don't have that stress release. And I drink, occasionally. I joked about vodka today, which I did have a little bit of vodka.
Like a good Jewish grandmother.
It's but
She's blowing up the internet. Her frequency's getting too high.
Right.
She just reappeared. Did you see that? What the hell?
I reappeared. I know. I have to talk slowly, or else it goes nuts. So yeah, so
Yeah.
that happened. So we're going to lose the weight, no problem. Yeah, I am a grandmother, and I love it. And he is a Andromedan starseed if I ever saw one.
Yeah.
But that's my biggest blessing. So I do have to lose the weight, but I am working on it, and I asked Source, help me to lose the weight I need to lose, but I don't want any hospital experiences. I
Yeah.
just want it like ease and grace. So make sure you're specific. I don't want another episode, you know. So we're on our way.
Yeah.
But I feel I don't cough anymore. I feel so healthy. And spices, I think spices is another one that
Yeah.
I'm not really able to do anymore so much.
So
So
tough.
Yeah.
I forgot to turn off my phone. Yeah, what transgender? We can do transgender as a topic. That's always interesting. That's been an
right.
adventure the past 2 years.
I think
I,
that's your father calling, or the
that's
council.
your
No,
father.
I know who it is. I think I know who it is. Anyways, it should stop now. Okay, gone. Sorry about that.
Hey,
I
it's all
usually turn
right.
it off. I forgot.
Yeah, I mean, this is awesome. This is awesome. So, yeah. So, beginning next Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. London,
All
5
right, we'll
a
pick a really edgy topic and
yeah,
get started.
5 a.m. AEST in Australia, the eastern side of Australia. You're going to be coming on every week, and we're really happy to have you. Uh, so everybody knows, the premieres, if you haven't heard, the premieres come out on, of all the shows, come out on all the social media platforms. And then from there, the lives and replays, including the premiere, will be housed at thesoldiernetwork.com. We're making changes as we go. We're finding little bugs in the software as we go, but our people are our partners, IT people, are very, very prompt and very good at what they do. We're starting to give them some good stress, and they're in it for the long run with us, and they're invaluable to us, Norin and Moody and all of their team. But yeah, SolargyNetwork.com, check it out. It's $12.12 a month. It is designed to 1/3 of everything going back to the content creators. We got to get to 3,333 people before we can do that, but I believe we'll be there before the end of the year and probably be as high as 10,000 people by the spring. We're just going to continue to build this. All of this is downloaded. All this is from transmissions, including what you guys are bringing, what I'm bringing, and what everybody else is bringing in this world. We just got to be brave enough and confident enough to share our transmissions, because you're right. I think Julia said this twice. It's really not. It's really no. When you get right down to it, I mean, I guess beyond. I guess in terms of the external experience that we're having here, which is basically having the opportunity, the potential, the offering to create and experience what we already have within ourselves. And in respect to that, when we receive informations, when we receive transmission, it really, I'm not going to say it has no benefit if it's not shared, but it really does change things in a really magical, exponential way when we share it. It becomes as good a code as there is. And it comes from us being present with each other. So I really appreciate you guys. I love you very much. I look forward to many, many episodes of transmission and collaborations. And if there's anything I can do to help, I'll be in touch with you and all the other soul producers, is what we're calling them right now. I'll be in touch with you. If you send me anything, don't get concerned if it's a day or two that goes by. I'm doing things in order of priority. In terms of the sequential way things roll out. So if somebody's got a show starting next Tuesday, they might have their email sit there for 3 or 4 days, because it's not at the there's that much time to try to work with, or not that much time to work with for me. So yeah.
I know who called.
Who?
It was my sister. My
And?
sister called. I can call. We can have her on the panel.
Oh, your sister. Yeah, we want to hear. We want to hear about the family that went to council meetings together when you were
That's who was
young.
calling. Okay.
How many families do you know that the two sisters, the mother and father, all go to council meetings? That's
Not many.
I think there's a lot more than we think. A lot more than we think.
Maybe. Also Dylan.
Oh, that's a whole family.
Yeah.
Julia, tell your husband I say hello.
Oh, I will.
And Susan, I'll see you soon. And Julia, I'll see you soon. And thank you so much.
Thank you. It was fun. All right.
It's going to be a blast.
Bye.